And so you have 54 of the world's most elite wine experts describing the deep, oaky flavors of a Cabernet, completely unaware that they are actually drinking dyed white wine. This happens because your brain operates under a strict hierarchy. Vision is the primary source of data, and it frequently overrides the information coming from your other senses. Roughly 1/3 of the human brain is dedicated to vision. Compare that to the tiny fractions of neural real estate used to process taste, smell, or touch. This processing power allows the visual cortex to act as a filter. It can rewrite the input from weaker senses to ensure that what you taste or feel matches what your eyes expect to see. In the experiment cited by John Medina, researchers gathered a panel of professional tasters, experts whose palates are trained to detect the slightest chemical variations in a grape's profile. The researchers presented them with 2 glasses of wine. Both were actually white, but one had been treated with a tasteless red food coloring. When the experts tasted the red dyed glass, they identified specific flavor markers associated with red grapes, such as dark berries and tannins. The visual data of the red dye reached the brain faster and with more intensity than the chemical data from the tongue. The brain accepted the visual signal and suppressed the conflicting information from the taste buds. These experts weren't being careless. Their brains used the visual evidence to construct the actual physical sensation of tasting a red wine. This demonstrates that even a highly trained palate can be overruled. When vision and taste provide conflicting data, the brain typically prioritizes the eyes. However, there are specific instances where the visual system encounters an internal map that is even more deeply embedded. Accessing this part of our biology requires looking at medical cases that rarely make it into standard textbooks. Consider the experience of an amputee. The physical arm has been removed. The site of the injury has healed. The person looks down and sees an empty sleeve. Yet they can still feel themselves clenching a fist. They may even feel sharp, localized pain in a hand that no longer exists. The eyes provide clear evidence that the limb is gone, but the brain ignores that visual data in favor of a different internal signal. Neurologist V.S. Ramachandran studied this condition to understand how the brain maintains its own internal representation of the body. His research into phantom limbs revealed a secondary system, one that can, in some cases, overpower the visual cortex. This system is located in the motor cortex. In this cortical map, specific regions of brain tissue are hard-coded to correspond with body parts like the arm, face, and leg. This physical map exists in your brain, regardless of whether the limb is still attached. When an arm is lost, the arm region of the motor cortex continues to fire. It sends signals to the rest of the brain stating that the limb is still present. In these cases, the brain's internal wiring is so strong that it rejects the visual evidence of the missing limb. The internal map maintains the sensation of the arm despite what the eyes see. Our sense of self is not built solely on what we observe in the moment, but on which neural system carries the most biological weight. Your brain is currently processing a massive influx of data within the total darkness of your skull, trying to make sense of a world it cannot see directly. To prevent confusion, the brain resolves the conflict between different senses by allowing the most dominant system to dictate your experience. Whether it's a wine's color or the presence of a limb, the brain builds a unified story by suppressing signals that don't fit the most powerful neural model. If you want to see how these hidden systems continue to shape your perception, you can follow the rest of the series here. Before you take your next bite of food, close your eyes, because what you are about to taste might just be